It's been a crazy 2023 fantasy football season, and whether you ended up a champion or you ended up in a toilet bowl, no doubt some of these players were involved in that outcome. It is time for our annual Fabby Awards. Michael Fabiano, our senior fantasy analyst, is handing out quite a few awards, and we're just gonna address a few of them in this very formal video. Hope you guys are watching. All right, Fabs, let's start out with our fantasy football MVP.
I should have wore a tuxedo, or at least a tuxedo t-shirt, right? I mean, these are more prestigious than the Tonys and the Grammys and the Golden Globes and the MTV Music Awards. They still have those? I don't even know. But the MVP of fantasy football, it's Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he was the highest scoring player regardless of position, even quarterback. He outscored every quarterback in the National Football League. He was super consistent. He was scoring touchdowns like they were going out of style. He was phenomenal. And believe it or not, he scored 120 more points than the number 2 running back, Travis Etienne. Christian McCaffrey, if you drafted him in the top 3, there's a good chance you went to the championship. I don't know if you won it because you got hurt in that game, but still, McCaffrey was fantastic.
Too soon to talk about that championship. Christian McCaffrey leaving early. I'm not over yet. All right, let's move on to the next category, fantasy football breakout. We love this one.
There are a lot of players I could put in here, but it's got to be Kyren Williams. And Williams could have won like 5 awards this season, but he was a league winner. This is a guy who, at the NFFC database for average draft position, was 204.2 in the first week of September. You know what that means? He either didn't get drafted or he got drafted really late. Kyren Williams was phenomenal on a points per game basis. Only McCaffrey was better among running backs. He was great, and no one saw it coming. We all drafted Cam Akers. Sean McVay pulled a fast one on us, but if you picked him up off the wire or drafted him late, Kyren Williams' breakout season likely helped you win a championship.
And here's an award I'm not sure the player wants to receive, but we got to hand it out anyway. And it's the Fabby Award for Bust of 2023. This is a big name, too. I mean, he's got a lot of awards. I think he's probably going to leave this one off his mantle, though.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to like this one, but it's Patrick Mahomes. And I can't believe I'm even saying that. Mahomes was the number 1 quarterback drafted on average in 2023. He was a top 36 pick. In some leagues, he went as high as the 2nd round. We were all focusing on high-end quarterbacks. Mahomes averaged 7.1 fewer points than he averaged last year. That is awful. He also failed to score more than 16.7 points in each of his last 5 games. And on a points per game basis, Jenny, was a QB 14. That was terrible. I'm sorry. I know Patrick Mahomes is one of the great quarterbacks in the National Football League. He's going to the Hall of Fame. But this year, he was a fantasy football dud.
And finally, drumroll please. I don't know. Am I very good at hosting this? I don't know if I get this gig next
You're doing a great job.
You're
You're doing far better than Jimmy Kimmel ever did. I can tell you that.
We're not going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel today. Okay, it is the Fantasy Football Rookie of the Year. I feel like this was probably mostly a 2-man race, but we have decided it goes to
Puka Nacua. The guy was unbelievably consistent, productive. He was 120 points better than Cooper Kupp, which is crazy because Puka, like, Marquez Valdez-Scantling got drafted ahead of Puka. Alec Pierce got drafted ahead of Puka. Isaiah Hodgins, like all these guys that ended up on the waiver wire were drafted ahead of Puka Nacua. He comes out and has one of the great rookie seasons of all time during the fantasy season. 101 catches, over 1,400 yards, 5 touchdowns. He was phenomenal. And believe this, Puka Nacua is going to be a 2nd-round pick in redrafts in 2024. He could have won the award for breakout, sleeper of the year, super sleeper of the year, draft value. I mean, he could have won all these things, same as his teammate Kyren Williams, but Puka Nacua was fantastic. What a find he was. If you had him on your fantasy team, good chance you got to the playoffs and maybe won a championship.
Congratulations, Puka Nacua. CJ Stroud, I assume, was also in that race. There were so many great players. There were also a few busts. I noticed Tony Pollard didn't make your list. But look, you had to make the hard choices. Only one person can win the Fabby Award for a category. But this isn't the entire list, so be sure you visit that at si.com/fantasy.